Hello and welcome back to Boring Dead Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. So we are going to go and visit our, hopefully our client. Let's go to the barracks and talk to Wallace, who has been accused of this awful murder. It's over, my life is over. Wallace?
Eep, who are you? What do you want?
Wallace, it's Celeste and Tyrion. From the library, remember?
Oh, right.
How are you doing? Apparently not well.
Please tell me you're going to get me out of here. I keep telling them that I didn't do it. They still won't let me go.
I'm sorry, Wallace, but they found traces of necromancy magic on the body.
What?
And because of that, they're going to push your case to trial.
What?
Are they going to execute me?
This can't be happening.
I can feel these walls closing in. I can't breathe. Please calm down. We know that you're innocent. With that said, would you let me represent you in court?
Oh, right, you said you were a lawyer. But I don't really have any money to pay you with.
Don't worry about that. For now, let's just focus on getting you acquitted.
What?
Do they seriously want to help me? He's happy about that. No, they want something from me, but okay, he's fearful of that.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter anyway. It's not like I have anything else to lose.
It's not exactly the reaction you were expecting, but at least he's cooperating. We'll just start by talking to him, I guess. Alibi.
I don't understand. I was with you in the library the entire time. Why do they still think I'm the murderer?
It makes no sense unless...
You told the Inquisition, right? Did you tell them that I'm innocent?
Did they frame me? Well, we did, but as we said before, there are traces of necromancy on the body. And with the state of the body, they believe that she was murdered with a necromancy spell. Apparently, that makes you their prime suspect.
I see.
Wallace, we heard about the type of magic that you're studying.
Don't worry. The headmaster explained it to us already. You just want to use necromancy to become a doctor, right?
I understand that you have reservations about talking about your magic, but in order to build a case for you, I need your spell compendium.
I don't even have one.
I know. Eris already told us about that. That's why she gave us a blank one for you to attune to.
Do I have to?
Well, it's your life on the line. And we need all the information we can get to help you.
Sorry, you're right. I'll attune to it.
His spell compendium contains the formulas for the following spells. Prestidigitation, which we saw last time with Pierce's book. Mend Wounds. Illusory Disguise, so he does have that. Revive, Animate Corpse, and Necrotic Blight. So it could have, these are spells that definitely could have been used in the murder. No Prestidigitation. Mend Wounds. Heals the wounds of the target over the casting time, which is a minute. Wounds on the target are magically healed without leaving any scars or bruises. This spell can't restore missing limbs, nor can it revive someone who has already died. Illusory Disguise. Places an illusion on the target to completely change their visual appearance. The disguise moves with the target for the duration. So this is an hour long. So as we know, the times probably match up to this, but she left the headmaster's office at 1, according to the headmaster, and was killed at 2. So maybe there's an illusion thing at play there during this 1 hour. The disguise can make the target look 1 foot larger or smaller. Elements hidden by the spell are made invisible. And elements created by the spell are purely visual. You cannot make physical contact with it. Revive, Vivify. It floods the target with life energy in an attempt to resuscitate them. It does not heal wounds sustained. Results may vary, but it cannot resuscitate someone who has been dead for more than a minute. So again, her time of death was listed as 2:01. So again, that 1 minute may be relevant. Animate Corpse. Necromancy. Reanimates the target using life energy, creating an undead minion for the duration, which is 8 hours. The minion follows the caster's orders, but its intelligence is limited, and it cannot speak. The minion can end the spell prematurely, but will only do so if ordered to by the master. I clicked before I read that last bit. Necrotic Blight. Pulls all of the life energy away from the target, resulting in instant death. This spell does not wound the target, nor does it leave any physical evidence, but it still leaves a magical trace. You understand the reason why he's studying this type of magic, but the spells in his compendium are still pretty gruesome. It's a little terrifying that spells like this even exist.
Sorry, I know I was being difficult. A long time ago, I showed my compendium to someone I trusted. After she saw my necromancy spell, she told everyone in the academy. That's also when Professor Bellwether started coming after me.
I'm sorry, that must have been hard for you. But at least you had Eris.
Yeah, I did.
How did you and Eris become friends anyway?
Another hint of fear from her.
Are her fears related to Eris?
Oh, it's a bit of a strange story. Sometimes other students would steal the ID number off my locker. Then they'd switch it with the one on another locker. They thought it was funny whenever the owner got angry with me. Eris had a bit of a reputation around our school. I'm not sure why, but everyone was scared of her, even the students from the nobility.
It was probably due to some baseless rumours.
One day, someone switched my nameplate with hers. I was so scared when she approached me, I couldn't even say anything. But she didn't get angry like the others. She just apologised and gave me back my nameplate. After that, she randomly started talking to me whenever she saw me. We became friends after that.
Oh, that's nice. It's a good thing he was able to find a friend in a place like that. So I have to ask, if it's caused you so much trouble, why are you still studying necromancy?
I want to use it to become a doctor.
The headmaster told us the same thing. But you could have just stopped after learning the healing spells. Why are you learning spells that can steal people's life force and raise undead?
Life and death are two sides of the same coin. That's the key principle behind necromancy. The first undead was actually a failed attempt to resurrect a human using magic.
Wow, I never knew that.
Right now, basic necromancy can only heal injuries and wounds, but it can't do anything for diseases or deformities. If I could just keep studying, I know I can create a new type of necromancy. One that can cure diseases and save lives.
He specifically wants to cure diseases. Did something happen to him to motivate him that much? I think I can already guess the answer to this question, but how was your relationship with Catherine Bellwether?
That's exactly what you'd expect. After word got out about what I was studying, Professor Bellwether would always target me. She'd start yelling at me for the smallest mistakes. She'd do that to some of the other students too, and she'd focus on the ones that were poor like me.
That's terrible.
I'd wake up each day, dreading the possibility that she'd notice me in the hallways. I knew how to avoid her and stay out of her way. But sometimes she'd just come looking for me. I can't believe that after everything that she did, she's just gone.
You must have mixed emotions about what happened.
I honestly don't know how I feel about it. To be honest, I always wish she would just disappear. But now that it's finally happened, I just feel even more afraid.
It feels like she's going to come back from the grave to haunt me. Even with Bellwether gone, his trauma will still probably linger. I think I'm starting to put things together now.
Have you figured something out?
Yeah, I just need to take some time to think through everything. The prosecution wants to implicate Wallace despite his alibi. They wouldn't have a reason to do that unless the evidence heavily implicated him. We've learned that Wallace is a necromancer, and he's the only person at the academy that's capable of high-level necromancy. A magical trace of necromancy was found... Was it on the body or just in the classroom? Let's just start with classroom. Okay, so maybe on the body? There's a trace of necromancy on the body.
This means that they think they can use Wallace. Sorry, they think that Wallace used one of his necromancy spells. Even without seeing the traces, it's pretty obvious that magic was used on the body.
Right, because there aren't any wounds on it. And the autopsy report found no signs of poison or disease. Which spell do they think he used? Well, that's pretty obvious. If I know Prosecutor Steelwind, she probably already has a theory on which spell he might have used. The prosecution will probably argue that Wallace used one of his spells to kill Bellwether. Necrotic Blight. They'll probably say that he used Necrotic Blight.
That makes sense. Necrotic Blight would have drained the life force from the body.
Yeah. Ah, yeah, there is a pool of blood. I wondered about this. There's a pool of blood where Catherine Bellwether's body was. This is strange because she wouldn't have been wounded by Necrotic Blight.
But that's where the contradiction lies.
Let's suppose that Wallace did kill Bellwether using necrotic blight. There's something at the crime scene that wouldn't be there if that were true. Yeah, okay, so Bellwether's body was found in blood. Is that just literally it? Oh. Covered in blood. Necrotic blight is a spell that doesn't inflict any visible wounds. There shouldn't have been any blood on the body. Then what really happened? Well, that's the last piece. If I had to guess, the information we need is being hidden by one of the witnesses who discovered the body.
Valentina!
She's definitely hiding something. Did you notice how she reacted when I asked you to scan the room?
Yeah, she ran away. She didn't even try to be subtle about it.
The way she reacted, I think she may have been trying to hide herself from your detect magic, which can only mean that there's a magical trace on her.
I wonder what she's trying to hide.
There's only one way to find out. The next time you see her, could you subtly cast detect magic and scan her?
All right.
It's been a while since we talked to her. Valerie also mentioned that they still had work to do today. She might be back in the Academy's kitchen now. Indeed. So let's leave here then, and we'll go back to the kitchen.
Oh, those two are finally gone. I can finally get some cleaning.
Oh, she's gone Irish now.
We can finally get some cleaning done.
Okay, there she is. Use detect magic to scan her from here.
Right.
Just don't shout the incantation like you always do.
I know that. All right, here we go.
Reperio Arcanum. What the? What is it?
There's a trace of magic on her.
I knew it. Which school of magic is it?
It's necromancy. There's a trace of necromancy on her.
What? Valentina has a magical trace of necromancy on her. Someone cast a necromancy spell on her within the last 48 hours.
What do we do now?
I'm still not sure how this fits in with everything. For now, let's talk to her and see if we can get more information out of her. If all else fails, we can confront her with the evidence we have.
Oh, you two again.
They're back? Okay, just relax. All I have to do is repeat what I told them last time. Unfortunately for her, that won't work this time. Miss Larnus, did you know that there... Well, I think it's Iarnus. Miss Iarnus, do you know there's a trace of necromancy on Bellwether's body?
Well, that's what was used to kill the professor, right? A necromancy spell?
That's the thing. If that were true, a lot of the evidence we found doesn't make sense. I think someone else cast a spell on the body.
Oh!
Is it possible that you saw someone use magic on Bellwether?
No. No, definitely not.
Calm down, there's no way they know. Her thoughts are an open book now. If you beat her in an argument, her thoughts might show you what she's hiding. Valentina Iarnus' psychological profile is complete. Okay, so we can do that immediately, so we might as well start the argument. Valentina clearly knows more than she's letting on. She found the body alongside her sister and reacted strangely when you mentioned someone may have used magic on the body. What is she hiding? Argument. Miss Iarnus, from the very beginning I felt like you've been hiding something from us. There's something that you're not telling us about.
What are you talking about?
My conscience is clear.
Well, I've told you in the nights everything I know. I've nothing to hide. You need to stay calm.
Okay, her psychological profile says she's more concerned with protecting herself than doing the right thing. She will continue to hide her secrets unless she thinks that doing so is dangerous for her. She sees Wallace as a villainous necromancer and will not feel pity for him. Hey? My conscience is clear. Okay. The piece of evidence. Miss Iarnus, what you're saying and what you're thinking are clearly different.
What? What does it even mean?
Oh, well...
We don't really know what you're talking about, but I'm telling the truth.
Use the eye and look at her thoughts and emotions. Find out which one is inconsistent with the claim. Oh, right, okay. So the fear... Okay, so the fear... Okay, so that's the one. Miss Iarnus, it's clear to anyone how nervous you are. I can practically see the fear you're emanating right now. Just tell us the truth. It'll be a lot easier for the both of us.
Well, let's say I were hiding something, which I'm not, by the way.
I don't have to tell you anything.
Why should I tell you anything? Well, you know my rights.
No, not appeal. Maybe this one. You've already given your statement to the Inquisition. If the truth comes out, what do you think they'll do when they realise you lied to them? You've already... Yeah, okay, so I won't repeat that.
Huh?
Who are you protecting, Miss Giannis?
You talk a big game? Oh, I bet you can't actually prove anything, can you? You think I'm lying to protect someone?
I don't know anyone who can use magic.
I don't even know any mages. I definitely didn't see anyone use magic on the body.
Yeah, the magical trace. You can't hide the truth from us, Miss Giannis.
What?
You said that you've never even seen a necromancy spell before. If that were true, then why is there a trace of necromancy on you?
Wait, what? There's a trace of necromancy on me?
Argument 1. What, did she not know about the spell that was cast on her? Well, that doesn't make any sense. If she didn't know about the trace, she wouldn't have avoided Celeste back then. There must be an explanation for this. Now, we've successfully argued against Valentina.
This is crazy. Why is there a trace of necromancy on me? Am I gonna die? Am I gonna become a zombie?
Well, that's strange. Is she really unaware that a spell was cast on her? Or is she playing dumb? Why doesn't Valentina know that the spell was necromancy? She knows that someone used magic on her, but she doesn't know the spell was necromancy. Maybe it was the healing spell. The spell cast on Valentina healed her? Calm down, Miss Giannis. Not all necromancy spells relate to the undead. Healing spells are also from the school of necromancy.
Healing spells? Oh, it was from that time she healed that cut.
That implies that she knows a mage who studies healing magic. Could that person be a student here?
Sorry, I just remembered that there is something else I have to do. I'll be right back. Hey, come back here.
Ugh, she ran away again.
I can catch her. There's no way she can outrun me.
Nah, the Inquisition's still stationed around the surrounding areas. They'd probably intervene if we started harassing one of the witnesses.
Ugh, that's true. We weren't able to learn anything.
Actually, I did learn one thing. She has a friend who cast a healing spell on her.
Really? How do you figure that out?
Well, good deductive reasoning.
Wow.
Well, healing magic is also a form of necromancy, right? I guess that explains the trace on her. It's a good thing we know Wallace. Otherwise, we might have also thought that a necromancer was trying to kill her. Wait a minute. That's it.
What? Did you figure something out?
This whole time we've been wondering why there's a trace of necromancy on the body. It isn't because someone attacked Bellwether with a necromancy spell. It's because someone used necromancy in an attempt to heal her.
Oh, I see. It doesn't matter what type of necromancy spell someone uses. Spells from the same school of magic leave the same type of trace.
Oh, it's not just that. The body clearly has blood on it. What would happen if someone used a healing spell on a wounded body?
It would close all of the body's wounds.
In other words, it would remove any cuts or bruises.
Well, interrogating Valentina may have been a dead end, but it still gave us just what we needed to win the case.
Well, I'm not so sure that was a dead end.
What do you mean?
It's not that suspicious that she asked someone to heal her if she injured herself. But if it's only that, why would she go to so much trouble to hide it? It's too coincidental. The wounds in the body were healed by an unknown person, and the person who found the body is hiding the identity of a healer. They have to be the same person.
Well, I guess that makes sense. So, what do we do now?
Valentina is definitely on to us. I doubt we'll get a third chance to speak with her. Hopefully what we have now is enough to acquit Wallace. You've done everything you can. Use what you've learned to poke holes in the prosecution's case. And if that doesn't work, you can drag Valentina onto the witness stand and pull the truth out of her. You just hope that what she's hiding is enough to acquit Wallace. Spoiled noble.
I demand to know why you're still holding on to my rapier. It's a precious family heirloom and I want it back.
It's evidence in the current case.
Evidence? The professor was killed with necromancy.
Was she though?
Why are you asking me? You're the one who's investigating this.
I suppose it doesn't matter. Just know that I will bring her murderer to justice, no matter who it may be. Save progress, yeah, why not? Let's go to save number 2.
Hi, Tyrion.
Ah, Celeste.
Oh, don't sneak up on me like that. Why are you so nervous?
It's not as if this is your first time defending someone. I can't help it. There's something about this building that just fills me with anxiety. It's too bad Ruby couldn't make it. I'd say that you should calm down for Wallace's sake, but...
Oh, there are so many people here. And they're all staring at me. Their eyes are prying into me like a pack of flesh-eating maggots. Gross.
Oh, don't worry, Wallace. Our investigation revealed a lot of weaknesses in the prosecution's case. We have a strong case for your acquittal.
Okay.
See, you can be confident when you want to be. It's strange. Something is calming about Wallace's anxiety. It's like he just absorbs the tension out of you and into himself. It's like a stress lightning rod.
Court is now in session for the trial of Wallace Nightgrave.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready.
Very well. Let us begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, could you please list the charges?
The defendant is a student at the Wyvern Imperial Academy. Mr. Nightgrave is charged with first-degree murder, negligent misuse of the arcane arts, and illegal practice of advanced necromancy.
Necromancy? Do you mean to tell me that the defendant is a necromancer?
Oh, I can't believe it. Rhubarb. A necromancer in this day and age? How could the kingdom let this happen? Your Honor, I would like to remind the court that they should view my client objectively.
Yes, of course, but one can easily see it from the list of charges. Necromancy plays a large role in the charges.
Indeed, the crime occurred within the academy this morning. The victim is Catherine Bellwether, a professor at the school. Although there were no witnesses, traces of necromancy were detected on the body. Furthermore, the autopsy report shows that the body has no physical wounds.
Yes, I see.
Necromancy is the only type of magic that can harm an individual without physically wounding them. Additionally, the Realchemist report shows no signs of poison or disease. Therefore, one can only conclude that a necromancer had committed the crime. As many of you know, necromancy is held into high scrutiny by the Crown. Aside from the defendant, no other students were permitted to learn advanced necrotic magic. As such, the defendant was the only mage in that building capable of committing the murder.
Yes, I see. It is certainly compelling evidence.
To properly present our case, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orrin White to the stand. Commander White, please testify to the court about the Inquisition's findings.
Yeah.
Witness testimony.
It started when the City Watch got a call from the Imperial Academy. Someone was attacked and the whole building was put on lockdown. We set up a perimeter around the area and waited for the lockdown system to deactivate. When we finally got into the building, the prosecutor personally inspected the body and detected traces of necromancy on it. There were no cuts or bruises on the body either. The entire body was clean. With those two pieces of evidence, we concluded that it could only be the necromancer kid that did it.
The Inquisition's testimony is just as you expected. You've already found and identified the holes in Steelwind's case. All you have to do is find that hole in the commander's testimony.
Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination.
Okay, so first we're going to press him on all those statements and get some clarifications. What time did this call come in?
A little after 3 p.m. It was a few minutes after the murder was discovered.
Right, you remember that was around the time the lockdown occurred. Right, the lockdown can't be ended manually, so they must have been forced to wait for the 1 hour duration to elapse. How secure was this perimeter? Is it possible that someone slipped past you? The Inquisition was working in conjunction with the City Watch and the King's Guard. With that many people at the scene, it's very unlikely that anyone escaped it unnoticed. True, for better or worse, the kingdom will act quickly to protect a building filled with nobles. Why did the prosecutor inspect the body instead of the Inquisition?
Well,
How I conducted the investigation is irrelevant to the proceedings. Or would you like to insinuate that I'm not as competent as Commander White? You don't question her competency, but it's still a bizarre decision on her part.
While the court admits that the prosecutor's actions are unorthodox, we see no reason to question the prosecutor's abilities.
Thank you, Your Honor. How carefully was the body checked? Perhaps the prosecution missed something.
The coroner couldn't find even the smallest cut, bruise, or fracture on the body. Furthermore, the alchemist's report showed no signs of poison or disease. The coroner was actually astounded at how unscathed the body was. That makes sense. If someone had used mend wounds on the body, it would have healed even the most minor of injuries. The question is, how do you prove that? Alright, his last statement. And the prosecution believes that my client used necrotic blight.
Yep, it's the only way that the crime scene makes any sense. Necrotic blight? Yeah, I'm afraid I've never heard of this spell before.
Necrotic blight is a spell that drains the life force from its target. When used on a living human, it makes their bodily functions cease, instantly killing them.
Yeah, I see.
What a horrible spell. That child should never have been allowed to learn something like that. What were they thinking? No, having that spell is not doing Wallace any favours. We already investigated the crime scene, so we know that the Inquisition's theory contradicts one of the clues that we found. Right, all I have to do is present that contradiction to the court. It's to do with the blood, isn't it? So, no cuts or bruises. So let's present the blood stain onto the body. Objection! Commander White, it appears that you've neglected to mention one key detail of the crime scene.
Yeah? And what's that?
During your testimony, you said that the entire body was clean. I will admit that there weren't any wounds on the body. However, the body was certainly not clean. At the scene of the crime, there was a large pool of blood located where the body was. This blood came from the victim's body, and it was definitely not clean, like the commander testified.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but I fail to see the significance of this.
I'd like to remind the court of the prosecution's case against my client. They're accusing him of murdering the victim using necrotic blight, a spell which would not have physically wounded the victim. So why was there any blood at all? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The fact still stands. There were no wounds on the body, nor were there any reports of poison or disease on the autopsy. There are clearly magical elements in this case. But Catherine Bellwether was bleeding profusely at some point. How else would there be a bloodstain on the body? Do you have an explanation for that, Miss Steelwind? No, I'll admit that the prosecution doesn't have an explanation for that. And while I do find the circumstances questionable, all other evidence clearly points to the defendant, which spell would leave a trace of necromancy. If the victim wasn't killed with necromancy, why was there a trace of it on the body? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'd like to present a spell that could have left a trace of necromancy on the body. So we go to spells, and we're looking for... is it revive? Or is it mend? It's mend wounds, isn't it?
Mend wounds? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that a healing spell?
That's correct, Your Honour. Spells from the School of Necromancy can control the forces of death and life. Mend wounds is in fact a necromancy spell.
Oh, really now? I wasn't aware of this.
Now I'd like the court to consider the following. What would happen if Bellwether was wounded and someone attempted to heal her using mend wounds? All of her wounds would disappear from her body.
I see.
Objection!
Do you honestly think that I'm incompetent, Mr. Cuthbert? Frankly, I'm a little insulted. What? The Inquisition is well aware of what happens when a mage attempts to save a victim using mend wounds. The healers that arrived at the scene already confirmed that the victim was long dead. None of them attempted to heal her. Well, what if someone tried to heal her and didn't report it? Please, none of the healers would have anything to gain by doing so. In fact, as a necromancer, the defendant could have easily carried out the described scenario. He could have casted mend wounds on the victim after murdering her to confound the investigation. At the end of the day, the burden of proof is on you. But if you could just find out who healed the body, this case is yours. And whoever this healer is, Valentina definitely knows her. Your Honour, I will admit that I don't have any evidence to support my theory. However, I do believe that we can bring it to light. There may have been two people that witnessed someone cast magic on the body. Valentina and Valerie Iannis, the sisters who discovered the body. This is nonsense. We've already questioned those two witnesses extensively. And if they had witnessed something like that, it would have come up in their testimony. If that's true, then you have nothing to lose by hearing their testimonies. Very well. If you're so confident, let's hear the witness's testimony.
Well, it seems the prosecution has no objections. However, if this line of questioning leads nowhere, I will see no reason to further prolong this trial. Do you understand, Mr. Cuthbert?
Of course, Your Honour.
Oh crap, it's that guy from before. Is he the necromancer's lawyer? She just got on the stand and she's already stressed out. This could work in your favour.
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. My name? Witness, there's no need to be so nervous. We merely want to hear about what you saw on the day of the murder. Right. Well, it's just that guy over there, You mean Mr. Cuthbert? Did this man harass you, witness?
Wait a minute.
Yeah. He, super harassed me.
Oh, shameful. I would expect a member of our justice system to behave more professionally.
Oh, shut up. Anyways, please state your name and occupation for the court, Miss Giannis. Just calm down, he can't prove anything.
My name is Valentina Giannis. I'm a member of the kitchen staff at the Wivengard Imperial Academy. As I recall, you were one of the witnesses who discovered the body. Apparently the defence finds your involvement suspect.
Oh dear, she's stressed and afraid.
Rest assured, Miss Giannis, in this courtroom you will be protected from Mr. Cuthbert's harassment.
Ugh.
Now, please testify to the court what happened on that day. Oh, yeah? Well, I was walking with my sister in the West Wing when we noticed something in a nearby classroom. We looked over to see what it was. That's when we saw Miss Bellwether bleeding on the ground. My sister tried her best to help her, but the professor had already lost a lot of blood. While my sister did that, I used an emergency communication device to call for help. But it was too late. By the time her bleeding stopped, she'd already lost too much blood.
If your theory is true, that means she just lied in her testimony. She's definitely holding something back. She definitely saw more than she's letting on. You just need to prove that somehow.
Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination.
I might need to remind well, let's press run all the statements first. Where were you two coming from?
Well, we came from the kitchen. We were taking a break after the lunch rush.
The cafeteria is on the west side of the academy. It's believable that they'd be on that side of the building.
What did you see in the classroom, Miss Giannis?
Did you notice anything else strange in the lecture hall?
Well, there was that terrible smell. It was awful. I almost couldn't see because of how much I was tearing up. But other than that, it was mostly focused on the professor.
Makes sense. It would be hard to notice anything else. She tried to help her. Miss Giannis, how exactly did your sister try to help Miss Bellwether?
What?
I slipped up.
My sister used first aid to try and stop the bleeding.
I see. Could you please add that detail to your testimony?
Yeah, sure.
She used first aid and applied pressure to the wound to stop the bleeding. Your sister knows how to use a first aid kit?
Yeah, well, it was covered in our training when we first started working. With all the nobles around, I guess the headmaster wanted to make sure we were prepared.
A device?
It's an artificatory device that allows for long-range communication. Some of those devices are placed around the school for use during an emergency.
I see. So who did you contact?
I wasn't sure, honestly. I could hear a lot of people talking on the other end. That particular device broadcast to the headmaster's office in the City Watch barracks. I imagine that's why the headmaster was able to activate the lockdown so quickly.
I see. That must have been a difficult experience for both of you.
No, it was especially hard on my sister. I think she blames herself for not being able to save her. We didn't like Professor Bellwether, but we still want her to die.
She seems sincere when she says that. You don't see any dissonant thoughts through the eye either.
Honestly, her testimony makes a lot of sense. It's hard to figure out which part she might be lying about.
There has to be a contradiction here somewhere.
Your theory is that Valentina saw someone use mend wounds on Bellwether. You should focus on the statements that describe how they both interacted with her.
Yeah. Let's look at this. So...
Objection!
Is that anything? Your Honour, it's clear that the witness's testimony is contradictory. And this piece of evidence proves it. This is going to be wrong.
I fail to see how that proves anything, Mr. Cuthbert.
Oh, I guess you're right. Okay, yeah, Oh, hang on. Oh, wait, that was the wrong thing. It's got to be. I mean, it's got to be this, hasn't it? It's just maybe it was the wrong statement to use it on. What about this one?
Objection!
Yeah. Okay. It's a case of trying to. It's got to be this, but it's got to be.
Objection!
I feel like this isn't it either. Okay, yeah, this is me playing Phoenix Wright and just kind of knowing what I have to say, but finding it hard to find the exact combination of things to do it. So, have I done it on this one?
Objection!
Yeah, I guess so. I might pause while I think about this. I'm going to have to spend a bit of time mulling over stuff, I think, which won't be particularly interesting to watch, so we'll come back in a sec. Okay, well, I've been looking through various things. I mean, one thing I didn't check previously was this autopsy report. Body showed no signs of cuts or bruising, so the spell was cast on them, and at the point the sister was supposedly applying this pressure and stuff, the body was not left unattended again, was it? Because the sisters were there, and then the commander was there. So there was no opportunity between this statement and, well, there's no opportunity after the start of this statement for the body to have that spell cast on it and nobody not notice it. So let's present this.
Objection!
Witness, what is the meaning of this? What? What are you looking at me like that?
Maybe I can elaborate, Miss Giannis. You weren't present in the gallery earlier, were you?
No, I was waiting in the lobby. Lady Steelwind told me to wait there.
Well, I suppose I should consider myself lucky. You see, Miss Giannis, one key element of the case is the body didn't have any wounds on it.
Yes, so?
So, please explain to the court, Miss Giannis, how did Valerie apply first aid when there shouldn't have been any wounds on the body?
What?
Oh no, I screwed it up. But I saw that wound on her. What happened?
Yeah, there's clearly something amiss here. I'm afraid I don't fully understand the implications of this. Are you accusing the witness of committing perjury, Mr. Cuthbert?
When someone lies, they stay as close to the truth as possible while changing minute details. In her thoughts, Valentina said she was sure that she saw a wound on Bellwether. And she also mentioned that Valerie was the one that tried to save the professor. If she didn't try to save Bellwether with first aid, could she have used magic instead? The sister could be the mage you're looking for. The witness was lying, Your Honor, but not about everything. Valerie Giannis did try to save the victim's life by addressing her wounds, but she didn't use first aid, she used magic. No, he found us out.
Objection!
I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but your theory is completely flawed. How so, Miss Steelwind?
Well, it's quite simple. We've already verified that neither of the sisters are mages.
What? Wait, how can you be so sure?
During the investigation, we had both the Yana sisters attuned to a spell compendium. It's a standard procedure for the Inquisition with interviewing witnesses.
Then that means...
That's correct. Neither of the Yana sisters could attune to a compendium. That's right, the Inquisition checked us both. Neither of us are mages.
Phew, that was close. Damn it, were you wrong about Valerie being a mage then? No, that can't be right. He found us out. Her thoughts said he found us out. That means you were on the right track. Valerie has to be the mage you're looking for. Celeste, is it possible for a mage to hold a spell compendium and avoid attuning to it?
No, it just needs to be on their person. When I was arrested, the Inquisition also made me attune to one of their spell compendiums. They were really careful to make sure that I did the attunement correctly. There's no way a mage could avoid attuning to a compendium with them watching you.
Right, Commander White may be negligent sometimes, but even he isn't that careless.
Now, if you're done, I do believe that you've exhausted all your options.
Wait, I'm still not done cross-examining this witness.
What could you possibly hope to glean from her testimony?
Valentina should be stressed out enough to see more of her thoughts. But you can't exactly say that you're planning to read her mind. There's one key element of her testimony that the court is overlooking. I have a right as an attorney to complete my cross-examination.
Your Honor, the defense is clearly trying to buy time.
Yes, I might be compelled to agree with you. However, I also have to admit some elements of the witness testimony are quite peculiar. I will allow the defense to perform one more cross-examination.
That was close.
But know that this is your last chance, Mr. Cuthbert. If you produce nothing substantial, I will pass my verdict.
Of course, Your Honor. All right, it's all or nothing. You can't find anything by reading her mind. This whole case is finished.
Witness, please give your testimony once more. Okay.
Damn it, how long does he plan to keep me here?
Like I said, my sister and I saw Miss Bellwether bleeding on the ground. We rushed over to her.
I was definitely surprised when I saw her like that.
Now that you mention it, I don't know if I saw any wounds on her, but I definitely saw blood.
I can't go back on that now, I just need to play dumb.
My sister tried to save her, but she didn't use any magic.
Oh, Valerie, you're too kind-hearted for your own good.
Neither of us is a mage. Both of us held that book the knights gave us.
I was caught off guard when they asked us. They almost found us out.
Commander was watching us the whole time. He can confirm it.
It's a good thing that we're twins, or else that wouldn't have worked. Aha.
What are we going to do? They have pretty hard proof that Valerie isn't a mage.
Valerie is the mage we're looking for, I'm sure of it. I'm just not sure why they felt the need to lie to the Inquisition. And more importantly, how did they trick the Inquisition? How did they trick the Inquisition? So let's press all these statements. Okay, no reason to doubt that. It sounds like you're just backtracking on your previous testimony.
Oh, I'm not! I just assumed she was wounded because of all the blood. How was I supposed to know that someone closed her wounds?
Her thoughts imply that she's lying, but her logic is sound. You'll need to look at other statements and the thoughts that accompany them. If Valerie wasn't the one who closed her wounds, how does she try to help her?
I don't know. She might have been looking for an open wound to apply first aid to.
But if we assume that you're telling the truth, there wouldn't be any wounds to find. My client would have already closed them to confound the investigation.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't know.
It's hard to work with her pleading ignorance of what happened. Maybe try looking at the thoughts of her other statements. They almost found them out. Can I assume that this book was an unattuned spell compendium?
Yes, the Inquisition has a myriad of them. It's a standard procedure to have witnesses attuned to them.
But doesn't the kingdom require that mages register? Why don't you just cross-reference those records with the witnesses' names?
For whatever reason, many mages among the common folk dislike the concept of registering. As a result, many of them choose to hide their powers illegally.
She's afraid. Alright, press her on this. It's a good thing that they're twins. Did you pull some kind of trick to deceive the Inquisition while attuning, Miss Giannis?
Of course not. We know that lying to Inquisition will get us into trouble. Why would either of us take a risk like that?
Living as an unregistered mage is a serious crime. If Valerie was a mage, then you would have been charged with fraud right then and there.
Yeah, but we already proved that neither of us are mages.
The eye seems to differ. Think through this. This isn't like a normal cross-examination. Nearly all of her thoughts will be suspicious and contrary to her testimony. What you need to do is find the thought that gives you a thread to pull on. In this case, you need to find the thought that implies how the twins tricked the commander. Find the thought that holds that clue and interpret it to proceed.
Objection!
Miss Giannis, your thoughts betray you.
What?
You found the thought. They must have done something, but what? It must have happened when Commander White was interrogating them.
Aaron was the one who collected their statements. Did he not notice anything off about their behaviour? From what he said, they had a few quirks, but nothing too suspicious.
Quirks.
He told me that they were running and spinning around him during the questioning.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. Perhaps they were still on edge after finding their co-worker murdered.
Running and spinning. Her thoughts also said it's a good thing that we're twins. This means that their so-called trick wouldn't have worked if they weren't twins. Valentina switched places with Valerie. Of course, they switched places. Valentina attuned to the first spell compendium. Then she pretended to be Valerie to attune to the second one. Commander White couldn't tell the difference between them. Miss Giannis, there's something I want to confirm. During the investigation, both you and Valerie attuned to a spell compendium. Am I correct?
Yeah, that night he watched us do it.
And how did he have you do this? Did you both attune to those compendiums at the same time? Or did you attune one after another?
What?
No way, does he know what we did?
I fail to see how that makes any difference, Mr. Cuthbert.
Yes, I agree. Spell compendiums would work regardless of what order they went in.
You may not be aware of this, Your Honor, but Valentina and Valerie Giannis are identical twins, which means that their physical appearances are nearly identical to each other. If Commander White didn't have them attune at the same time, what would stop the twins from switching places with each other?
Objection!
This is clearly nothing but baseless conjecture. Aaron wouldn't fail at such a basic task.
Really, Prosecutor Steelwind? Do you find it hard to believe that Commander White would fail at a task like this?
Wait a minute, this is crazy. We didn't trick the Inquisition. My sister and I are not mages.
Then prove it, Miss Giannis. Bring in your sister and we'll have you attuned to 2 spell compendiums at the same time.
No, wait.
Order in the court. It's clear that we won't get anywhere unless we test the defense's theory. Bailiff, escort Valerie Giannis to the stand and bring 2 unattuned spell compendiums.
They've both had their hands on those compendiums for the last 10 minutes. There's no way they can fake it in front of this many people.
All right, it's the moment of truth. You can only hope that your theory is correct.
No, did he seriously?
What is it, Prosecutor Steelwind? What did you see?
What I say is Commander White seeking new employment in the near future. It appears the defense was correct. Valentina Giannis isn't a mage, but Valerie Giannis is. What's more, Valerie Giannis' compendium contains the Mend Wounds spell, which makes the defense's theory entirely plausible. Please, just allow me to explain. We should allow you to explain what exactly? You're an unregistered mage, and you and your sister have made fools out of all of us with your perjury. How would you know what it's like, Lady Steelwind? What? Did you think we didn't notice your name? You're not like us. You don't have to hide. Whatever. This whole situation has gotten out of hand. I didn't think hiding it would cause so much trouble. And I won't let someone go to prison because of me, even if he is a necromancer. Please let me testify about what I saw. I'll tell you what really happened that day.
Very well, but understand that there will be repercussions for your actions, witness.
Yes, I know. My sister and I were walking in the hallway from the kitchen to the foyer. Then I suddenly spotted the professor lying in a pool of blood in a nearby classroom. Valentina used a communication device to call for help while I tried to save her. I saw that she was bleeding, so I cast mend wounds on her to close her wounds. But it was too late. I closed the hole in her stomach, but she was already dead.
There was a hole in her stomach?
Your Honour, as you can clearly see from the witness's testimony, the trace of necromancy was left by the witness, not my client. What's more, it's clear that there was a physical wound on the body.
Yeah, I see. Well,
His words trail off. He clearly doesn't want to pass a verdict when there's no clear culprit. But he has no choice. The case against Wallace is predicated on Bellwether being killed by necromancy. With Valerie's testimony, the prosecution doesn't have a shred of evidence implicating him.
Very well. The court sees no reason to prolong this trial. With these new developments, the court has no choice but to find Wallace Nightgrave not...
Objection!
I believe the court is ignoring one key detail of the witness's testimony.
And what would that be, Miss Steelwind?
Let's re-examine the witness's testimony. Valentina used a communication device to call for help while I tried to save her. I saw that she was bleeding, so I cast mend wounds on her to close her wounds. But it was too late. I closed the hole in her stomach, but she was already dead. The communication device that Valentina Yanis used logs the time of day during each use. From this log, we know that Valentina used this device at 3:04 PM. This was an hour after the time of death.
Where are you going with this?
Mr. Cuthbert, there was a witness who saw the victim before the body was found, Jan Hughes. He, along with another witness, spotted Bellwether walking in the hallways before the body was found.
I was cleaning the halls. Bellwether knocked over a vase. There was shards and dirt everywhere. It was probably 20 to 30 minutes before the twins found the body.
20 to 30 minutes before the body was found. Do you see the discrepancy, Mr. Cuthbert?
Wait, that can't be right. Bellwether died more than an hour before the body was found. How did Jan see her half an hour after her death?
I wonder, Mr. Cuthbert, how could one make a dead body move and walk around?
No, you can't mean...
There was more than one piece of evidence that pointed to a necromancer committing the crime. The defendant murdered the victim and used necromancy to animate her corpse.
An undead? Created within the Imperial Academy? How reprehensible. That's ridiculous. She had a hole in her stomach when the twins found her.
Jan Hughes would have noticed that. Animate corpse stops the flow of blood, so she wouldn't attract blood anywhere. The defendant is also proficient with illusion magic. He could have easily used an illusion spell to hide the undead Bellwether's wounds.
But another party could have easily used illusion magic to disguise themselves as the victim.
If that were true, how did they move the body to the classroom?
Miss Steelwind, if your theory is true, it would mean that the murder occurred elsewhere. Would the Inquisition happen to know where?
Regrettably, we do not.
Then the prosecution's case against my client is still faulty. You can't convict my client without more evidence.
Well, I agree with Mr. Cuthbert. With these new developments, the court sees fit to suspend the trial for the time being. It will give the law enforcement time to investigate these unknowns. Court proceedings for this case will resume tomorrow morning. Court is adjourned.
Hey, are you feeling okay?
A body is seen moving around an hour after death. It clearly wasn't Bellwether, but at the very least she wasn't alive when this happened.
So what was it? Tyrion?
There's illusion magic involved, there has to be. But which spell was it? Could it have been illusory disguise?
Tyrion!
What?
You've been quiet since the trial ended. You were making me worried.
Sorry, I was just thinking about what Steelwind said.
You mean about her theory? It's a little creepy when you think about it. Do you really think someone turned the professor into an undead?
I don't think so. The prosecution's case is hinged on one clear fact, that Wallace was the only high-level necromancer nearby. We have to assume that he's the only person capable of using that type of magic.
But then how was she walking around?
I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. It's a given that Wallace didn't touch the body, so we can discount the use of high-level necromancy.
No matter what, someone used an illusion. But aren't there spells that can create freestanding illusions, not just disguises?
Honestly don't know. We'd need to talk to someone who knows about that type of magic. Wait, didn't Eris say that she was studying illusion magic? She might be able to tell us if something like that is possible.
Is that really a good idea?
What do you mean?
What if she's the one who created the illusion?
What? You're detecting fear from her again. Celeste, are you scared of Eris?
What? No?
I saw it this morning too. You always get really scared when she's around.
Oh, I thought I was doing a better job of hiding it. Sorry, it's not based on anything real, but for years I've been working as a mercenary. When you do that kind of work, you build up an instinct to sense danger. You kind of have to if you want to stay alive.
Sorry, I never knew.
Tyrion, I fought literal monsters and barely escaped with my life. But when I'm near Eris, none of those creatures come even close. I get this feeling, it's like I'm in front of a predator that I couldn't ever hope to beat. Every instinct I have tells me to run whenever she's close by.
Really? She doesn't seem that dangerous.
I know, I think maybe I'm just anxious or something. I should know better than anyone not to judge people by their appearance. Sorry, forget I said anything. If you think we should talk to her, then we should do that.
You're not one to discount Celeste's instincts. She's always been reliable, and if Eris is making her scared, that must mean something. But if Eris really is that dangerous, then that's all the more reason to talk to her. But aside from that, there was also something else the prosecutor said. Mr. Cuthbert, there was a witness who saw the victim before the body was found, Jan Hughes. He, along with another witness, spotted Bellwether walking in the hallways before the body was found.
She said along with another witness. That means there was another witness that saw Bellwether walking around. Right, Jan probably isn't the most reliable witness, so talking to the other person might help us figure out what happened. But do you think Steelwind will tell us who that witness was?
At this point, we won't lose anything by trying. In any case, it looks like you have your work cut out for you. So where should we start first? Save progress, yeah. Okay, so let's get out to this one. But I think we'll leave it there for now. I think probably this next stage of the investigation is a good place to pick it up next time. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. I have to be honest, I mean, I'm in a similar place to where I was at the end of the last episode, in that Eris is giving weird vibes, totally sketchy vibes, which Celeste has confirmed. It's not just us thinking that. Is she guilty of the murder? I don't know, because she was with us the entire time. But then she can seem to affect people's perceptions, or she mentioned something about deceiving them, so there is definitely something going on. In terms of what actually happened, I'm no clearer to having a clear idea of that, really. So, yeah, any comments on this video, just any theories that people might have as to who committed the murder? I'd be very interested to know. I mean, I think Eris is probably prime suspect, but there's the headmaster as well. We know that she was planning to sack all the kitchen staff, and they had a bit of a difficult relationship, the two of them. And he is, his arcane art is illusion as well, we mustn't forget. So, yeah, interested to see where this one goes. If you enjoyed this, as I said, if you could hit that thumbs up button, that's always very appreciated. As I said, be sure to leave me a comment, let me know what your theories are, anything else about the game that you might have to say. Always interested to hear those thoughts. And if you're watching this and haven't yet subscribed to the channel, it would be amazing if you could do so. So thanks very much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.